Welcome, dear listener, to our segment, Spirituality and the Brain. I am your host, Vanessa Anceloni, and we are here dedicating moments to reflect on how science, especially the science of the brain, neuroscience, is helping us validate many of the Spiritist teachings and bridge them up, as Allan Kardec taught us in the book Genesis. Science and Spiritism walk hand in hand to the progress of humanity. And today we're going to dedicate this very segment to the understanding of how we can forget offenses. Forgive and forget. Often people say when you forget, you forget. But is it possible to really forget offenses? We have just found out through a most recent study that just came out in June. The researchers, psychologists from the University of St. Andrews, especially Dr. Simon Oren and Professor Malcolm MacLeod of the university's School of Psychology, they have led a beautiful research, and reliable as well, showing that it is possible to suppress emotional autobiographical memories. The study published in June of 2013 shows that people can be trained to forget particular details associated with emotional memories. And this is an important finding, dear listener, because it offers potential therapeutic interventions for those who are suffering from emotional disorders, such as depression, post-traumatic stress disorders, even those who have a difficulty forgiving themselves. So they show that people can be trained to forget details that are really bothering them regarding some memories. This is quite fascinating because for the first time we get to know that we can train our minds to do so. In the scientific perspective, Spiritism has been bringing to us this invitation to understand the importance of forgiving ourselves, our own offenses, and forgiving others whom we think have offended us. Not necessarily people offend us, but sometimes we take offense. How do we do it? In the book Evolution into Worlds, Dr. André Luiz, through Chico Xavier, explains to us that many of our diseases happen when we make a mistake and we keep remembering them. So the importance of recycling those memories become vital for us to really shift and make ourselves anew every day. If we go to the Gospel according to Spiritism, we're gonna recall the passage in which Jesus invited us, saying, "Blessed are those who are merciful to themselves and others." Dear listener, are you merciful with your own self and with others? There is a beautiful message by the Spirit Simeon in the very chapter that talks about blessed are the merciful, item 14. It talks about forgiveness of offenses. And there is a beautiful invitation for us here. You shall forgive without limit. Forgive yourself and forgive others. You shall forgive every offense as many times as it is committed against you. The beauty of this invitation is that it tells us that we become quite invulnerable when we practice such forgiveness, because then we are not susceptible to the ups and downs of somebody else's emotions. This is the concept, dear listener, of emotional intelligence. When we are emotionally intelligent, we not only keep track of our emotions, but we also keep track of people's emotions. We know the difference between our emotions and theirs, and that helps us discern our thinking and our action. So people who are emotionally intelligent, they really are skillful around everyone's emotions. They are less susceptible to what we call emotional contagion. And in that regard, forgiveness is a part of it. So science is telling us that we can train our brains to really forget some memories. Some memories that we would say we are going to recycle them. So science is coming hand in hand with the Spiritist teachings, telling us that we need to coach ourselves into forgiving and forgetting. How do we do this, you may be asking? Let us recall the very parable of the unmerciful servant told by Jesus. Jesus was a very skillful master, and in that parable, he's going to invite us to a new understanding. So there was a lord of the lands, he had many servants and he had his guards. One day, he asked the guards to bring one of the servants to his presence because that servant owed him a great deal of money. When this servant was in front of the Lord, he actually begged for forgiveness. The Lord was so merciful, he said, "Sure, from now on you have no debt with me whatsoever, you can go free." And then the servant left. But then later on, as he walked by in the streets, he saw somebody who owed him money. So he grabbed the man by the neck and forced him into paying the money that he owed. The guards of the Lord were around and they observed his behavior. So they ran to the Lord and actually told the Lord what was happening. So the Lord was very furious and said, "Bring him back here." So they brought the unmerciful servant back to the presence of the Lord. And the Lord said, "You are not merciful to others. Why shall I be merciful to you? Now you're going to be in prison." This parable dictates to us what happens in our own conscience when we are not applying mercy towards others. We're not forgiving, we're not forgetting, and we're still demanding on others that they do better. In our conscience, we receive what we give. And we can't forget that we have spiritual connections as well. There are several discarnate spirits that are connected to us, and they observe us. And some are spirits that are still in need of our love because we have debts of love regarding them. And when they observe that we're not merciful to others, they also come and demand on us that we change ourselves, and our lives become very complicated. So dear listener, here we go with a very practical tool for us to walk this journey of forgiveness, self-forgiveness, forgetfulness of difficult memories, coaching ourselves to recycling difficult memories, emotional memories that are hard, offenses that we take, things that we did and we don't forgive ourselves. The first thing we need to do is pray. The second is observe our actions and little by little visualize ourselves through affirmations, telling ourselves that we are children of God, we are here to grow into progress, and soon we are going to be able to relieve that heavy load of difficulties. So if you want more information about this, just write to us at kardec@kardekradio.com. We wish you lots of blessings and enjoy your week.